Okay, so this is the second part of cutting the character into layers. By now I'm sure you have a good idea, but in case you're curious how I did the hand or the face or the hair, I'm going to do this small video for you and you can watch along. Some of it will be in fast motion, some of it I'll talk through it. So right now we're looking at the vectorized version of the character that we were using in the last video. And in the previous video we did the two legs. Really, we did the left leg and then duplicated that left leg to create the right leg. Now the left hand is partially covered. So how I would approach that is make a duplicate of the right hand. And the hair is kind of all cut up, it's hard to see. What I'll end up doing is creating a top half to the hair and this bottom half to the hair going right up to the head, but not this top part. This part of the hair here we can animate separate than the top. So I'm going to put those on separate layers. And you'll see me do that in fast motion at the end of the video. But that's the approach. One other thing I've done new to this version is now I have colors as well. And the way I got the colors was to import the image of these characters again, but this time I kept it as a bitmap and just used it to steal the colors. So I have this optimized version that is a bitmap, and this is what we're creating our layers from. But what I'm going to do now is import another version of this character and steal the colors. So for example, if I want to get the ear color, right now I don't have an ear color. So let's create an ear color from the original image. So I'm going to import image, browse to where I have these characters. So this is the original character lineup. And this time I'm going to create a new layer, keep it as an original bitmap, so make no changes, make it fit in the stage, and bring the alpha straight in. If there's any alpha channel inside that image, we're going to grab it. So there we go. Here's the original image. Yeah, it has all the characters, but we're just going to steal colors from this one. And that's what we're going to use as a color template. So I'm actually going to rename this to color image. And if it's the ears that I'm after, you could see the resolution broke down on the import. It might actually come back if I look at it in the rendered form, it does look proper. But we just want to steal the color of the ears. So I'm going to make a copy of any color really. Just hit the plus button. Double click the color. I'm going to name it ear or ears. Grab the eyedropper tool and drag it over and let go on top of the ear. And there we go. I have my ear color. Now this doesn't automatically organize the colors by alphabetically. So what I'm going to do is just drag it up to where it should be. So there you go. So now when I make the ear layer, I can color it with that color. And if ever we need to change the ear colors, we now have that in our palette. So very handy. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do an ear layer. So let's grab our original vector version now and optimized. We're going to make a duplicate of that layer. Duplicate selected layer. And I'm going to hide the original and lock it so I don't break it. And I'm going to cut away, just like I did before, everything except the ears. For now I'm going to use the selection tool and just cut away. Ooh, I'm going to break the ear there, so let's not touch that one. We don't want the eyes either. I'll have to fix that particular part of the ear. Oh, don't want to lose that color, that line. I'm just going to grab some of this extra junk as well. Avoid that line because that line's going to break my ear. Oh, this one's removable. Okay, so now that we know that these are attached, we're going to use our cutter tool on that. And just draw where we want it to cut. Doesn't have to be perfect, we can fix it after. And same with this one over here. Draw where we want it to cut. And there's our ears. Now you may want to animate left ear and right ear separately. That'd be kind of fun. For simplicity purposes, I'm just going to call this layer ears and keep it as it is. Now with the contour tool, I'm going to optimize this by removing some of this extra noise that we created here. So here, there's some extra points that we just don't need. I'm going to delete those. These extra lines I'm also going to delete. That way it's a nice solid image. So I'm just clicking right on the line itself. And if I want to make that a little prettier, well, I could just delete that point and that'll help already. Okay, there's one ear. This ear I really should complete. But let's first clean it up. So we don't need that one. We don't want that line. And what we actually can do is drag this point to touch that point. If they touch, they'll actually connect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another point here, holding the control key, and another point here, control key. Control click. And what I'm going to do is find a way to make this connect a little nicer. So I'm going to pull that point to touch. And well, it looks like we got an extra point there, so that'll work. And again, I'm going to get rid of these lines. And we want to make this as clean as we can, so any extra points will cause a problem. So I'm going to try and remove some of that. There you go. And I'm going to spread these points out a little bit. Gives us a little more flexibility when we animate the ear. Well, not exactly matching. This one's concave and this one's convex, so, or the other way around, depends how you look at it. I'm going to pull these in. Not perfect, but you get what I'm doing. And now when it comes to a point, this one kind of doesn't, so let's fix that. I think in this case, I'm just going to pull that up. Now again, we have these points, or these lines, so I'm going to get rid of them, hitting delete. I'm going to move this point out and delete this point. That was the Alt key. When you hold the Alt key, that gives you control over these Beziers. This one's kind of square, this one's kind of sharp. I'm not sure how it's supposed to be. Both look kind of cool. I really should check the model sheet. Don't want to get fired. Oh, it is flat. All right. So let's flatten this one back out. So if I want to add a point, control click. Okay, so there's our ears. Now remember, we have to color on the color layer. So if I go back to our color layer, it still has all that noise from the original layer that we copied it from. So we should delete all of it. All right, so I'm only deleting what's on the color layer. And what will be left behind is the drawing layer. Okay, so there's nothing here now in the color layer that I can select. So what I'm going to do is copy this line to the color layer. Drawing, create color art from line art. So that gives us the invisible line that we need to color. And I'm going to use that new ear color that we selected and flood fill. And there we go. We have our ear layer done. If you're seeing that blue line, that's our invisible line that we're still seeing. I'm just going to click on the line layer and it goes away. Okay, so let's do this one more time with the head or the face. So there's our full character again. And I will call it a head layer because essentially it is a head layer. So I'm going to make another duplicate layer of the optimized vectorized version of the character. Duplicate selected layer. Hide the original. And we're going to call this our head layer. And again, I'm just going to select everything and cut away. I did the ears already, so I can cut those away. Let me cut away first, and then I'll make a copy for the eyes as well. Okay, and since I remember, I'm going to delete all the invisible lines in the color layer as well. That way our color layer is automatically clean. So there's our head layer. Let's get rid of some of this hair. Now I'll have to use the cutter on that. So there's our head layer. Let's get rid of some of this hair. Okay, so now that I got as close as I can to having the head layer, I'm going to duplicate the head layer and make one version the eyes and one version the head. So let's work on that head layer. So I'm going to get rid of the eyes. This is really messy here, so I'm going to actually just delete that. And this is going to leave some gaps. So again, I'm going to attach these gaps, and I'm actually going to make this head just a little bit bigger. So let's do just that. And there's some extra points here in the head, so I'm going to try and clean this up a bit. Again, getting rid of some of those lines. Okay, so the head is a little bit bigger than what it was. Let's compare with the original. Yeah, so I made the head a little bit bigger, and we'll put the hair up on top of it, so it'll look a little bit better. Get rid of some of these extra points, get rid of the line, and again what I'm going to do is get these to attach. See, just by getting to intersect, they will join. There's that side. Let's do the same on this side. Now there seems to be a problem with this getting a bit thin. So what I'm going to do is pull this one up a bit. And this one too. And I'm going to control click to add a point here. And then that's what I'm going to use to connect to the bottom half. There we go. I'm going to pull those down again. so it kind of matches. Of course, you're going to have to clean this up. And that will be our head. So again, compared against the original, not bad. So we have our face layer, or our head layer. So let's color that in. What color did we have? Do we have a face? So we don't have a face color, so let's add a face color. I'll just make a duplicate. Look at our original. Import. Double click the color. Use the eyedropper, steal the face color. Name it face. Hide it. Go to our color layer. Now there's nothing in here, so let's create color art from line art and use our face color to bucket fill. Okay, so let's do the same with our eyes. Nope, that's ears, eyes. So the eyes layer we still have to clean up. So let's do just that. Start to cut away just the same thing. Cool looking eyes. So go to my color layer, drawing, create color art from line art. Fill it with our eye color. So there we go. Now you didn't see me make the hair layer yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you it and then play back how I created that hair layer. So I broke the hair into two parts. The top of the hair and the bottom of the hair. So now when I put the face on top of it, or the head on top of it, and we put the ears on top of it, and the eyes, character starts to come together. So there you go. Now the hair I did have to fill in the same way that I filled in the face or filled in the ears. I did have to backfill that. In fact, I even had to fill in this piece right here, and you'll see that in the video. And then again, in the color layer, I had to delete everything in the color layer and then recreate the invisible line using drawing, create color art from line art. That's how I created the invisible line in the color layer. But you can see how our character's starting to come together. We worked on the skirt last video, and we worked on the legs the last video. Now this leg is not attached. I did round the top of the character's leg, and I did that on this one as well. Just like I will actually round the bottom of the thigh as well. And I will round the bottom of the shin, and that way when the character moves, you won't see a gap in the character. But that I'll show during the rigging stage. Now looking at this, I will have to make the hand. I would do the right hand first, and then copy it over to the left hand because the left hand is hidden. So I would have the hand on a separate layer, the forearm on a separate layer, the upper arm on a separate layer, the torso on a separate layer, and the neck I would put on a separate layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do the hand now, and then fast motion through and fast motion through the hair. Hopefully this helps. If you want me to add anything to this handout, or if you have any questions, feel free to contact me and I'll respond. Have fun.